How to know if you should use a spiral crochet or a turning chain. I will show you the way to know it safely so that you will never doubt again. And we are gonna do a little quiz, so stay till the end. If you don't know the difference between crocheting in a spiral and crocheting with a turning chain, I recommend you to watch this video. You can see the link on the top right. It explains the difference and you will see how it's done in practice. If you buy a pattern, for example, on Etsy, it's pretty easy. Usually it's written there, and if it's not, you simply ask the seller and they will tell you for sure. But if you are looking for free patterns on, say, Pinterest, which I believe most of you do, that can be a problem because in most cases you won't find that information there. So I'm going to show you how to easily tell just by the picture. I'm going to use my Christmas ball pattern to help me out here. They are the same, only one is drawn for the turning chain and the other for the spiral crochet. I intentionally cut the sides like this to make it easier to see. It's basically just how the right and left sides sit together. So to get the best view, I'm going to cut the pattern in half and put the ends together. You can see that this pattern continues nicely here, and what this means for us is that we have to crochet with the turning chain at the end of each row, so that the resulting crochet ball matches the pattern. The individual rows form like closed circles, as I showed in one of the previous videos on this toy. Each row is closed like this, so we will use a turning chain. The pattern connects to each other on both sides of the pattern. Then I have this second pattern. I'll cut it out again and bring the edges together. By the way, there's no need to print and cut a pattern. For example, I do it just by putting a ruler to my monitor and seeing if the left and right side matches or not. You can see that the pattern doesn't continue and that there's a shift in the pattern. And that doesn't mean that the pattern is wrong, but it does mean that we are going to crochet in a spiral. When we crochet in a spiral, it really looks like a spiral, so we just have to balance the pattern by moving up one row so that realistically the pattern forms correctly and no shift, no jog is seen in reality. I know, it may sound a little strange, but it's true. As I showed in the previous video, when you work in a spiral, you are one beat higher at the end of each row than at the beginning of that row. You can see it here. Here's the beginning of the first row, and here's the end of the row. And you can see I'm higher up. I'm not at the same level as I would be if I were crocheting with a turning chain. So that's why there has to be a shift in the pattern to even it out. But it's not possible to do this for all patterns, it's more for those that have some isolated elements on a solid background, as is the case with my pattern here. In general, I would say that 99% of the time when you crochet ropes, you will crochet in a spiral because there is a turning chain only in rare cases. It's a lot more complicated to draw. I will explain that in a future video. But the opposite is true for purses, balls, eggs and other things. There, in most cases, you will encounter rather a turning chain. It won't be 99% of the time, but it will be the majority. Because there it's simpler, and in complex patterns it's a must. So to summarize, if the left and right sides of the pattern continue each other, you use a turning chain. If the right and left sides are offset by one row, you crochet in a spiral. And now we are gonna try it together. I found some patterns that are available on Pinterest. These are not my patterns, so I will give credit to the authors. Links of the patterns can be found in the video description. I found them for free download, so let's take a guess. So I hope you found this video helpful and will know how to do it next time. If anything is not clear to you, write me in the comments. I read all the comments and reply to them. I'll be glad if you give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!